Well, first of all,
you were a principal for how long?
3 years.
3 years, yeah. So
I think to have a really strong campus and really high teacher morale, which has such great impact on everything else. You know, if you've got high teacher morale, they like what they're doing, they like where they work, they like the kids. You know, you'll have programs taking off in every direction that are positive for the kids. You have to show your staff that you support them, which means having their back at parent conferences, which means if they need extra resources, going to central administration and really fighting for that. I think once you get above, my experience anyway, once you get above campus level administration, things kind of get lost, especially if they require money. So superintendents, assistant soups, they love all these great ideas, but there's no money for them. One of the things that made us successful as a campus is we found our own money. There's tons of grant money out there. It just takes a lot of time and effort to get to it.
Right.
So you form committees, you have focus groups, and you do other things to generate revenue. Once you have your money, central administration is all for it. They're like, yeah, let's do it for the kids. But if you don't have the funding, it's really hard to get any cooperation. So high teacher morale, I think, is probably the key. And to do that, you have to really show your staff that you support them, you have their back, you'll do what it takes to get them the resources for them to do the job that they need to do.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So, and you mentioned. How do you, from the principal side, how did you see that? You know, say you needed to, how much management did you had to do, and what was that point?
Initially, very heavy on the management, because as I mentioned earlier, it was a very low performing campus. Quite honestly, about a third of the teachers there shouldn't have been in a teaching profession. They were more of a problem than they were a benefit to anyone. So initially it was very heavily managed. We had very strict guidelines. We had very clear goals of what we wanted to accomplish within a certain amount of time. People bought into it or they resisted, and we knew about a third of the staff would resist it because they would resist anything at that point. But we stayed very consistent with what we wanted to accomplish. Those teachers who were there who had the same vision stuck with us. After the first year, I think we had a campus of about 70 teachers at that time. After that first year, we probably lost, maybe 25 of them, which was a really good thing. Because after the first year, we went out and we actively looked for teachers, not necessarily based on experience, but we looked for teachers who really enjoyed working with kids. And we hired those people. And within that year that we hired them, just a lot of training, a lot of training with classroom discipline, management, policy, the kinds of nuts and bolts things that someone with very little teaching experience would need to have. But we didn't mess with their interaction with the kids. If we saw something positive going on in a classroom, we let it go. Everybody has their own style to a certain extent. And as long as they're not doing something really crazy or that would endanger the students, we let them go with it. And after that second year, we had just a really, really solid staff. Third year, I think we had 2 positions that turned over out of 70, which was incredible. And then after the third year, unfortunately, the administrators, I took on another position in the private sector. The 2 other administrators, one of them took a position at a high school in the Panhandle, and the third took a position in the area as well.
Yeah, that's another issue, because I've been finding out that there's a big turnover in principals too.
Well,
So-
well, and the funny thing is, after we had had the success with this campus, and we
Yeah.
presented at a couple of state conferences and that kind of thing, it was like being recruited from everywhere.
Really?
We had people calling us from all over the states,
Really?
offering us job positions,
Uh-huh.
and so that I don't think that was a determining factor on any of us leaving, but
Right.
but it certainly put ideas in your head that
Right.
if you can do this at this campus, the good you could do at other places as
Right.
well.
Right. Yeah, okay, that pretty much wraps it up.